everyone, and welcome to Books Unbound, the podcast where we unbind books to get to their hearts with your hosts. Us, it's Ariel and
Raylene. Hi.
Woo! Hola, hola, hola.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here we are at another episode with books to talk about and wildlife updates. Do you have any wildlife updates? I have some.
I don't have any, actual updates. Kyle and I went for a walk this morning and we did see about 800 prairie dogs, but that's old news at this point, you know?
Yes.
But there's lots, and lots of them are babies, and they were, wrestling and, diving into holes together, so it was entertaining.
That's so cool. I have two wildlife updates. The first one is that I met a person and I ended up driving them home and dropping them off at their house. And this was, I did it truly just because I thought it would be helpful. Their house is basically on the way to my house, and I was like, I'll drop you off.
Yeah.
I didn't have an ulterior motive, but boy, did I get a reward. Because she was like, do you want to come meet my ducklings?
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I do. As I jumped out of the Jeep and ran out to her house. And she has so many chickens and ducks.
Oh, wow.
And they're not called a litter of ducklings, whatever a lot of little ducklings are called. A collection of baby ducks. And they were so cute. And they're runner ducks. You know, runner ducks are tall, skinny ones.
Oh,
They're very tall. I'm sure. Cool. I'm sure when you saw them, you'd be like, "Oh yeah."
Those guys.
They are so beautiful. So that was extremely exciting. The other exciting wildlife thing that's been going on is that you will be visited by 3 ghosts. No, I've been being visited by a cat. I love her. I believe she is a barn cat. I think she is wild. She has, you just kind of you can tell when a cat lives in a house and sleeps inside versus is rolling in the dirt 100% of the time. And is quite thin, not dangerously thin, but just obviously isn't being given 2 or 3 meals a day kind of a thing. So she's that kind of cat. She's been visiting lately, and the last time that she visited, I had this feeling that she might be pregnant, and I was God. Oh my God. So I called the vet and everything, and they were I called the shelter, and they're so busy that they have a wait list. So I was put on the wait list, and I was like, I can foster this cat, but I don't know what to do. Blah, blah. Anyways, I called a vet as well, and so I made an appointment for this morning, actually.
Oh wow,
Raylene, for her to take her to the vet, but I haven't seen her in 4 days, so I haven't been able to catch her.
She's like, I don't want to go there. I'm not coming back.
So I haven't seen her. Because I just want to make sure that she's okay, and she might not be pregnant, right? She might just, I don't know why I had that sense. I felt like her tummy was rounder than usual, and she also just seemed really hungry. But anyways, she's so pretty. She's such a cute cat. I've sent Raylene a lot of photos, and I kind of want to adopt her, but I really do. Obviously, part of the reason to take her to the vet is so that she can get, they can scan her for a microchip, because she doesn't have a collar or anything else like that. But oh God, I love her. I love her. So anyways, that's just been fun. Every time that we see her outside, one of us will be like, she's here, and we all run outside and we pet her. We pet her, and it's really fun. But anyways, I haven't seen her in a while, so maybe she was pregnant and she's out having babies right now, or maybe she probably is just a lot of outdoor cats. They have a lot of different homes that they visit, right? So she might just be hanging at someone else's house, which is nice.
That's always possible.
Yeah. How about you? How's your week been?
It's been fairly uneventful, but there have been a couple of cool announcements in the movie and TV world that I wanted to mention because I'm excited about them. So obviously Sunrise on the Reaping is the new Hunger Games movie is being talked about a lot. I have a Google alert set up for it, which is how I've been getting all my news. And so apparently it's going to be starting to film soon, which isn't the point of what I wanted to talk about, but Ben Wang, one of the cast members, mentioned that this movie is going to be filming soon. And in the same like conversation that he was having with whoever it was, he mentioned that he's in the Long Walk movie, which I didn't realize was even happening, or if I did, I forgot about it.
Oh, that's funny. Did you see the trailer?
No, I should actually do that. I always forget
the trailer looks so good.
Okay,
Raylene.
I'll have to watch it. I just thought it was so funny because I just talked about Stephen King at the end of last week's episode, and The Long Walk is one of the books on my like top 10 Stephen King books you must read. But what I also thought was cool is that the movie is being directed by Francis Lawrence, who is also directing Sunrise on the Reaping. He also directed a bunch of Hunger Games movies. So I'm like, this is going to be great, because I often compare The Long Walk to the Hunger Games. Like, I feel like they exist in kind of the same type of scope. So that all was just very exciting and cool. So I'm really excited about that. But then the other thing is that Stranger Things season 5 has a release date now.
Does it now? When is that?
So season 5 is going to be the final season. And it is coming out
32 and married.
Exactly. Yeah. Time skipped. They're all old. But it is coming out in 3 parts, sort of similarly to the last season. They're breaking it up. Boy. So the first 4, I think, episodes are coming out on November 26th.
Oh, wow, that's late.
I know, it's so late.
This timeline. I don't understand this timeline at all. None of this.
I always think of Stranger Things as like a summer show now, so I was kind of like, oh, I guess fall does make sense, but it's like late fall. And then the next couple of episodes come out on Christmas Day, and then finale, the finale comes out on New Year's Eve.
Hey, that's cool.
Which is quite cool. I'm like, I like it. Like, those are days that people are often busy, yes, but it's also a time when lots of people are off work. So there's going to be a lot of people watching that, including me. So that was just very exciting to hear, because I've been thinking about Stranger Things a lot lately. Anytime it's summertime, I'm like, should I rewatch season 3 of Stranger Things? Maybe I will. But now I'm gonna wait until a little later, so I'm closer to the new season.
Do we know why this show has been so delayed? I
mean, it's kind of a huge undertaking to make, I would assume. Like, just all the CGI and everything. Like, every season I feel like takes a long time to make. So
that's so fascinating.
Yeah. And maybe they like want the kids to get older. I don't know. maybe that's part of the point. But yeah.
So the last season came out, okay, this is fascinating, because your vibe about the summerness of it is totally right. The first season ever came out July of 2016. So it's been a decade. This is what I don't get. They've spent decade. I get the COVID delay, that I understand. Yeah. But I spent a decade making 4.5 seasons of a show. Okay, so the first season came out in July. The second season came out in October.
Ooh.
The third season came out in July.
Yeah.
The fourth season came out in May and then in July.
Right.
And then the fifth season is November. So it has almost always come out in the summer. So I feel like you were right on the vibe there.
That felt correct. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm a little sad that I have to wait even longer than I thought. I was hoping it was going to come out this summer, but alas.
Yeah, because the last season came out in 2022. May of 2022, which means they filmed it in 2021.
Yeah.
That's crazy
delay.
That's
true.
That's
actually,
so fascinating.
That makes a lot of sense, because in 2022 is when I started working at the place I currently work. And for Halloween, I was like, what if we all dressed up as Stranger Things characters? Like, I've literally been at this office for like 3 months, and I'm like, sure, I'll be Steve. I'll wear his little Scoops Ahoy outfit. Sure. That's new awesome. Coworkers. So it is kind of funny to think that, that was 2022. I did that right when I started
that was a lifetime ago.
It really
you
was.
were a different person.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So
but yeah, other than those couple of things, I actually did kind of do one other slightly major thing. I deleted Instagram from my phone.
Whoa.
It's been dark times lately. Like, as people may remember, last year, you and I were very good about being like completely off of social media. We were like, I don't want to do it. Get me out of here.
Yes.
But it has slowly like crept its way back into my life, just in like a lurky kind of way. Like, I don't post on there anymore, but I do often look at it and waste time on there. And so the other day I had a call with my friends who I haven't spoken to in a while, and we were like just kind of chatting about things. And we were all like, you know what? We should get rid of Instagram. And like, they're really addicted to Reddit. So they're like, I need to get rid of Reddit. And so I was like, guys, let's just all do it right now. Let's delete it. And so we did. And it's been like, less than a week since that happened, but I'm already feeling great about it. I have switched over to using ebooks as my thing that I'm looking at on my phone if I'm ever needing to look at my phone. So now I just got an ebook from the library, and so I feel like I'm about to slide into a summer of reading is what I'm hoping.
Nice. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
That's awesome. I've been on a similar journey the last few months. Like 3 months ago, I was like, I'm spending too much time on my phone. It's no good. And so I limited I did a screen time
That's
thing.
what I started with. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like 2 months ago, I was like, nah, I should just full hog it. Like there's no point in playing around here. So 2 months ago, I discovered downtime, which was really, really cool as well. I recommend if you're on an iPhone, and I'm so sure there's an equivalent on Android, I just don't know what it is. But like downtime on iPhone is basically when you're allowed to use apps. So I've blocked almost everything, like Gmail as well, because I was like, yes, it is mainly social media, but it's also just my phone in general that I want to spend less time on.
Yeah.
So Gmail and all of the social media apps and Safari, like all of these apps that I'm like, I don't need to be on those before 10 in the morning. Like I'm allowed to just have a morning, and when I sit down at my computer and I've actually had my coffee and I've like even just like gone to the washroom, like been a
give
human.
yourself some time.
Yeah, right? And then when I'm ready, I'll sit at my computer and I can open my email and I can look at whatever I need to look at, but I don't need to look at apps before 10 in the morning. And actually, I've now pushed that. A month ago, I pushed it to 10:30 in the morning because I was like, just a little more time in the morning to be free of stuff. And then it locks me out of everything at 11 p.m. So again, after 11, why do I need to look at my email? Why do I need to look, so just trying to like set these limits. And again, I can't Google things randomly. And it's kind of been great because I will often open Safari to look at something and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what, Ariel, past Ariel, you're right. We don't need to Google something right now at 11:45 p.m.
Yeah.
And the only way that this has worked is because like screen time lets you set a password, and I gave that password to Connor. So Connor knows the password, so I can't override anything.
Okay, that's really cool. I was wondering about that.
I recommend that because, in your weakest moments, you'll just punch in the password and keep going.
Exactly.
And so I'm like, no, I really want to be strict about this. And I have all of the apps available to me that I need. Like if I had an emergency, the phone app is still available and messages is still available,
You'll be okay.
I'll be okay, but I don't need to Google.
That's true. And like you could always just like make yourself a list if you really have things that you're like, I really would like to know what this is. Like just look it up tomorrow. And maybe tomorrow you won't care anymore.
Yeah, totally. 100%. And so I started with, I set myself also a bunch of screen time goals where I was like, okay, I'm only going to use YouTube for 30 minutes a day, Instagram for 30 minutes a day, and Facebook for 30 minutes a day. And I know you're thinking, Facebook? You use Facebook? I am addicted to Facebook Marketplace. Yeah. I love scrolling through like antique finds and thrifted finds, right? So I was like, 30 minutes a day of each of these is great. And slowly over the months, I've cut it down. And so when I got to the downtime thing, like 2 months ago, I cut everything way down. And then a month ago, I've given myself 0 minutes a day of Instagram, 0 minutes a day of Facebook, and I still have 30 minutes a day of YouTube because YouTube to me I don't find it rots my brain. You know what I mean? Like I purposely am watching someone's video that they spent time making. Like it's not
totally. Yeah. Like YouTube videos feel more intentional than watching short form. I know it's kind of funny. I feel like we've like gone full circle in different ways where like back in the day, YouTube videos were all like a minute or 2 minutes long and they've slowly gotten longer and longer. And now we don't want them to be short, but we do want them to be YouTube.
Yeah, you're totally right.
I hear that. That's inspiring. Thank you for sharing that downtime. I've never used it.
It's been really, really good. And I also didn't know it existed. Like I literally was like, I wish I could just like block my phone till 10 in the morning. And I was like, there must be a way I could hack it. And I look it up and they're like, there literally is just a setting. And I was like, oh, okay. Great. Well, why are we all talking about downtime? Downtime is my new favorite thing. Sick. Speaking of trailers, Raylene, I did want to mention one trailer that my brother actually sent me this morning. It's something we've talked about before. I think we've talked about it on the podcast, but a new trailer came out for the video game Tiny Bookshop.
Oh.
And this was a game that I follow a bunch of cozy gamers on YouTube and stuff. And so I've been hearing about this game for years because it's been rumored for years. And then when a trailer came out or something, a bunch of people sent it to me because obviously it's a lot like the book truck.
Yeah.
But a new trailer came out 4 days ago that has official release date trailer. So we finally know the date. I don't think we knew the date until very recently. Yeah. Anyways, this game launches August 7th. Woo! So I wanted to mention that here because I really think people that listen to this podcast will like this game. Yeah. Tiny bookshop. You're literally like a book cart, a bookmobile, and you park in different remote locations, and it looks like kind of a management sim, which is my favorite kind of game.
I'm like, that's all I want.
Yeah, you choose the books that you give to people, and it looks very, very cute. I have never played the game, so I have no idea if it's good or not. But if people were... the other reason I wanted to mention it was because, I feel that people are going to be like us, and they heard about this game a year ago, and then nothing was announced about it.
I keep forgetting it exists because of how long it's been since I first heard about it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, we now have an actual release date, which is really fun.
That's awesome.
All right. Shall we talk about books?
Yeah.
All right. So last week we were very successful. We had wrapped up a bunch of books we've been reading, and it was kind of fun because I feel like we hadn't been finishing things for a long time, and we finally were like finishing things.
I felt like we were back.
Yeah, this last week has been exciting because I've just sort of been like starting new things. So I'm excited to talk about those. Maybe I'll just start there. I'll start with what I'm currently reading because I'm jazzed on all of it.
All right.
The first one is obviously Anne of Ingleside, book number 6 in the Anne series. I read a little bit more of it, not that much, but I'm enjoying it. I'm not loving it though, but I'm enjoying it. That's okay. Next up, I started Treasure Island. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was so funny because it was like May 30th or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there's no way I'm going to finish this in 2 days, so maybe I shouldn't start it. And I was like, that's not the
right reason.
I was like, if I started in Mashed Potato May, that's still awesome. Like, it's still getting me to read more of the books that I've had on my list for a long time. So I started reading this. I think I got like 4 pages in before I had to put it down and start Googling stuff because it's just, pirates are, I almost can't believe we live in a world where pirates are history. They're not fiction. Yeah. They're fact.
They seem made up, but they're not.
They seem made up. It's like similar to fairies or wizards, pirates. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like in the same genre. And like I just couldn't, I was reading stuff and I was like, I just couldn't believe how cool it all was. And I was like, and this is all real. Yeah. Like, and I know that a lot of it isn't. Like a lot of it has been jacked up and stuff, but still most of it is, it's based in fact. And so for example, I was thinking about the pirate flag, the Jolly Roger, the black flag with a skull and crossbones, and I was like, you know what, I don't know if that's real, if that's made up, or if that's fake.
We gotta
Do you have a feeling about that, really? Like, would you guess that that's real or fake?
I would guess that it's fake, but I bet you're about to tell me that it's real.
Totally real.
Yeah.
Totally real. It's unbelievable. So obviously on ships at the time, like throughout the history of ships, flags have always been very important. And it's a way that they can communicate with land, with other ships from afar. They would fly different colored flags to mean different things to other ships and stuff. And so an attacking ship would fly a black flag, just like a fully black flag, if they were intending to attack a ship. And it was a way to warn, if you surrender, that would mean we avoid a fight. Yeah. Nobody will die. If you surrender, we'll let you keep 25% of the stuff on your boat.
Oh, wow.
We're going to steal the other 75, but we would avoid bloodshed kind of a thing, right? And so often pirates would be flying this flag because they would be pirating and stealing and stuff. And so eventually it just grew that they would be flying these black flags and then would put the crossbow or the skull and crossbones on it, which is, that's so cool. That's really so unbelievably cool. Yeah. I actually kind of spooked myself while reading about like Blackbeard and things. I'm like, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it's all real. It's so cool. So I also know that Treasure Island is like an important pirate book in that like some of the ideas and things that he like added on to make it all even cooler is now like inspired the Pirates of the Caribbean movies and other depictions of pirates and things. So that's awesome. I'm enjoying that. Okay, the next thing that I started as an audiobook. And when I tell you, I have a feeling this is going to be a 5 out of 5 star book. Whoa. I have a feeling this is going to be a favorite of the year. I'm not kidding. Unbelievably loving this. Half-Breed by Maria Campbell.
Nice.
Have you read this one?
No, I haven't.
No? Okay. So this is so cool. It says a new fully restored edition of the essential Canadian classic that was originally published in 1973. And I'll just keep reading the back here. It says, Half-Breed is Métis author Maria Campbell's unflinching memoir documenting her childhood and early adult life. Good Lord. It's so good. And the audiobook specifically, like, I get that reading the book is obviously like kind of the intended, like she wrote it.
Yeah.
She wrote it as words on a page and stuff. But I almost feel like it should be listened to because her voice is so beautiful and she has such, oh God, I love her accent. It's the like Saskatchewan Indigenous accent. It's so, so beautiful. And yeah, it just feels like and I say this about all memoirs. They're always better when you hear the author say it because they're telling you their life, right? So it just feels like I'm sitting down with Maria Campbell and she's telling me her life. It's so beautiful. And I think what I'm really enjoying is that she's just tying together this really fascinating, like, childhood that she had, and she's tying together like the really funny parts, the wholesome parts, the joyful parts, and the difficult parts, the brutal parts, the awful parts. And it's just beautiful. It's so, so, so well done. So I think I'm like a quarter into it and I like can't stop thinking about it. All I want to do is listen to more of it. It's fantastic. Yeah. I also, one thing I want to mention is the reason that I found this book is because I was looking up books about mixed race people like a decade ago. Yeah. I am mixed race. And so I was like, it'd be cool to read about other mixed race experiences. I'm sure there's like lots of cool books about that. I personally find it to be a very fascinating way to exist because there's like, you know, some people just flat out say that I'm white and they just like say just that and they assume it and then they run with it. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. It's very funny. Like I remember being on a panel once. This was years and years. You might have been on this panel too, actually. I don't remember. Oh, was it?
I've only been on one panel and it was at VidCon.
Were you not on a panel at a book expo?
I've never been to book expo.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? It must have been at VidCon then. Anyways, I was on a panel and we started getting all of this a lot of stuff on Twitter and people were like, I can't believe they did an all white panel. Oh yeah. And I'm like, okay. Hello. On the other hand, I also have people who just assume that I'm Latina because my mom is Honduran and I will get pulled into that club. Yeah. And people are like, you're Latina and all of these things. And the thing is, I am neither and I am both. Yeah, and it's so a weird existence. I can't, like if you ask me, what are you? I can't tell you. Yeah. I don't know. And it's also not like a half-half thing. Like that doesn't make sense. So it's a very fascinating way to operate in the world. Anyways, so I just find it very interesting. And so that's how I discovered this book like a decade ago and I purchased it and I was really excited about it because for people that don't know, Métis is it's kind of a loaded term actually. I got to be careful here, but because I don't know that much about it. But the kind of generalist idea is, if I'm just simmering it down, is French white settlers who came to Canada who then married Indigenous peoples, and those people are considered Métis. And so it's very fascinating, and like the term half-breed, you can't say that out loud. But that's the name of the book, and that's what she calls herself, and that's what she calls her community. And it's so interesting because she says, like in the book, she's like talking about her relationship with white people, but also her relationship with Indigenous people and how she's not close to them either. And I was just like, this is so interesting. Yeah. Anyways, fascinating. So I'm learning a whole interesting side of Canadian history and culture that I didn't know anything about. And I'm loving it.
Oh, I'm so glad you're loving it, even though it's such early days. That's so exciting.
Yes, I know. It's always scary to say that because, like, I don't want to jinx it. But it's really, really good.
Yeah.
All right, the final book that I'm reading, I saved this one for last, Raylene, so we can transition into what you're currently reading. It is Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. Woo!
Woo! Yep, I've got mine right here.
Nice. This is our book club book. And we started it, not yesterday, the day before, on a live show with our patrons. A bunch of the people there started it with us, which was really fun. And we were talking about our theories and what might be going on in this book. I haven't read any more since the live show. I don't know about you.
I read like 2 pages, but yeah.
Okay.
Not a whole lot.
I'm really enjoying this as well so far. Like, really, I think it's really, really cool. I really like the writing style. I really like the imagery that's going on. It's very poetic. It's very beautifully written. And it's very spooky. It's a very spooky read.
Yeah.
What do you think? How are you feeling about it?
So far, I said this during the live show too, like, so far I'm feeling fairly neutral. Like, I'm not loving it. I'm not disliking it either. I'm somewhere in the middle because, like you said, the writing is very poetic and very descriptive, which is like, oh, like not usually my jam, but I am enjoying the atmosphere and the kind of spooky mystery of it all. So, like,
there's a real mystery going on.
Yeah, it's like, so there's this married couple and one of them is a marine biologist who was in a submarine that, like, kind of disappeared for a bit and like sank, and then she's now come back, and so it's about them like reconnecting and all the time that they were apart, and like weird things are starting to happen to the wife who was down below. Like, it hasn't really gotten too into it, but there's like, she just seems different and seems off, and I'm like, what happened? What does it all mean? And like thinking about the title of the book, and I'm like, okay, well, what is down there at the bottom of the sea? Like, the ocean is just such a spooky place. Like, it's one of the things that freaks me out the most because it's like there's so much unknown down there, and that's why I think it's like,
so funny.
It's really interesting to explore.
I
that
love
in
that.
books. I know, I'm just like, oh, we don't know what's down there, man.
I think it's so funny. I forget. It was probably a decade ago that you told me that you were afraid of the ocean, and so that's like a fact I have in my head about Raylene. But I just find that really funny. And when like, you came to visit,
I'm not
like,
scared of really anything, but the ocean, I don't want to go in there. Not even a little bit. I don't like it. Specifically where it's deep, though. Like, deep ocean is the true fear. Like, you would never catch me going down in a submarine. Nuh-uh, no way.
That's really fun. I'm trying to imagine you in a submarine.
Why would I be down there?
Such a funny idea.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, like, when this started, but now I'm just, like, thinking back to the first, like, book I can imagine that's about the ocean. Did you ever read Island? That's the trilogy of books by, I think, by Gordon Corman. There was all these cool books when we were kids, and it was like a trilogy of books called Island, like book 1, book 2, book 3. And oh my gosh, it was so scary. It's about a bunch of kids who are on a boat, and then the boat like crashes or sinks, and they're like all trying to survive on an island. Like, it was the precursor to Lord of the Flies that I read when I was like 7. So maybe that's why I'm so scared of the ocean. I don't know.
I remember reading the Titanic Magic Treehouse book.
Oh yeah,
remember that one?
Yeah, I didn't really read a lot of Magic Treehouse. I was more into Mary-Kate and Ashley and Pokemon books. Weirdly, that's what makes me laugh. That you're like really into Pokemon now?
Does anyone want to guess what decade we were born?
Oh man, they were the best.
The 90s. I never read a Mary-Kate and Ashley or a Pokemon book.
Wow, yeah, they were my school library was just loaded.
Were they non-fiction, or is this like fake adventures that they made Mary-Kate and Ashley, who are real people, go on?
You know, I actually would love to look into that more and figure out what was like the thinking process behind all of this. But like, you've seen Mary-Kate and Ashley movies, right? So it's kind of like the same.
I actually haven't, but really? I know about them.
Yeah, it's basically just about them being sisters going on adventures around the world. Like, most of them are like, okay, now we're going to Italy, and then it's like something happens when they're in Italy. And that's pretty much what the books were. It's just them like going on little adventures. But it's true, like, that's weird. They are real people.
They're real people. That's like not that's not even their fake name. That's like their actual names.
Yeah,
so crazy.
It's really strange. Like, they did act in movies where they were playing characters, but then in a lot of these movies they were literally just themselves. Or we think they were themselves. I don't know. It's so weird.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's fascinating. Okay, well, so we're liking the book, but obviously we're not that far in. Literally, I'm on page 11. So
yeah, I'm on page like 22, I think. I'm a little bit further ahead than you, but not super far. Not a lot has changed since page 11.
Yeah, let's see what the heck happens. What else are you reading?
Well, first I wanted to review the book that I finished because it kind of has influenced what I'm reading. So I'm going to jump into my review for Annie Bot by Sierra Greer. Sierra Greer grew up in Minnesota before attending Williams College and Johns Hopkins University. A former high school English teacher, she writes about the future from her home in rural Connecticut. Annie Bot is her debut novel and was published in 2024. So yes, I had just started this last week, like just started it, and the day that day and the day after, I read a lot of it. So I kind of like sat down and read half of it on that first day, and it's just because it was so engrossing and so interesting. So this is about a robot named Annie, and she lives with her owner whose name is Doug, and he basically bought her, and also she cost like $250,000 first of all. So like that's something that's revealed in the book. So like people who have robot companions in this book are like, they're the rich. It's only rich people who can afford them at this point.
Fascinating.
So yeah, so you know that this Doug guy is like super rich. He bought her originally to just like cook and clean for him, basically. So in this situation, there's like three different...
This is already so stressful.
I know. Just you wait. So... Because there's basically like three different types of like AI companion that people can have. They can either have an Abigail, which is a cooking and cleaning robot. They can have I can't remember what they call them, but basically a nanny robot. And then the other version is called a cuddle bunny, which means, you know, a little girlfriend companion type of thing. And so that's what he ends up turning her into, because he's like, I don't need you to cook and clean for me anymore. I just want you to be my girlfriend. And so that's her life at the beginning of the book. Like she is just there basically as a sex object for him. And so I will say that this is quite a spicy book, just as a warning. Like it is like, you know, it's a sci-fi book in some ways, but it is quite spicy as well. So that is just like a warning for anyone who doesn't maybe want that.
I didn't see that
I
coming.
know. I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh my God, we're like on page 10 and like, whoa, things are happening. So,
I think that's a good warning to have, because I don't think most people would assume
exactly. But yeah, so that is something about the book. But basically how it all starts out is that, yeah, she's just kind of living her life, and her whole purpose in life is to please him, basically, in all aspects of life. So like if she says something that like makes him a little bit unhappy, she can like see that his displeasure is at a 3 out of 10, and she's like, I have to do everything in my power to fix it. So that's like her whole existence. That's all she thinks about. She isn't really, you know, a person at all. And so what happens is that
I'm so uncomfortable right now.
It is a really uncomfortable book. Like, because the whole thing is that like she is owned by him. So there's obviously this like power imbalance, but he really wants her to like feel like a person, and he really wants her to like be human. And but she of course never can, especially because he's fully in control of her. So if she like does anything wrong, he can just like change her settings, or he can do whatever he wants to her. So this is actually a really good companion, no pun intended, to the movie Companion, which is kind of a similar situation.
Oh, okay.
So I really highly recommend it. If you've seen the movie Companion, like you will love this book, and vice versa.
I'm getting slightly Ruby Sparks vibes.
A little bit. That's a great point. I was going to bring that up and I forgot to write it down. So thank you for saying that. Perfect. It is the exact same kind of situation where it's like you've created something and you're abusing the power you have over that thing. And it's so stressful. And so the whole book is basically like you're reading about a toxic relationship, because that's in you know, the grand scheme of things what it is. And it is very stressful. And you just like are rooting for her the whole time, and you just like want her to get away, but there's so many things like stopping her from being able to, like, because she feels this like sense of duty to this person, and she is programmed that way, and so she can't really help it. But at the same time, she is like evolving and learning things that other robots in this world like aren't capable of yet. So she's kind of like above and beyond, like she's learning faster and more differently than other robots are necessarily. And so that scares him. That scares him a lot. And that's like another big thing in the book, is that like she is kind of becoming too human for his liking almost. And it's like, oh, it's so spooky. It's very spooky. So I really, really enjoyed it. And because of this book, I am now obsessed with robots. So last week you mentioned, you were like, hey, when was the last time you saw the movie Robots? I haven't rewatched it, but I have been watching other like robot movies. I've been wanting to read robot books. And so I actually started listening to the audiobook of All Systems Red, the first Murderbot book.
Oh my God. I feel like that is a book. That's one of the books that people tell us to read the most.
Yeah. And the funny thing is I have read it before. But I didn't like it the first time I read it. And so it's been long enough since I've read it that I actually don't remember anything about it at all. I don't remember why I wasn't enjoying it. And so I was like, you know what? We're going to give it another try.
Nice.
The whole series, except for I think one book, are just novellas. So the audiobooks are like 3 or 4 hours long. There's only one book that's like, 10 hours or whatever it is on audio. But I just figured I'm going to give it a try because now is the time. I'm like super into robots right now. I think that they're so interesting. And so I'm reading that. So that's pretty exciting. I've only listened to like 20 minutes. So I don't really have many thoughts on it yet, but hopefully I will have finished it next week and maybe I'll be reading the next one. I don't know. But on top of that, I also, of course, am also reading Our Wives Under the Sea. And I am also reading, as I mentioned, I started reading an ebook on my phone. And that is Heaven by Mieko Kawakami. Which is sort of similar to your Treasure Planet situation where I was like,
I love that you said Treasure Planet. You said Treasure Planet instead of Treasure Island.
I don't even know what Treasure Planet is. Oh my gosh. Kyle's been trying to get me to watch that movie for years.
It's that amazing movie. Do you remember Treasure Planet, the movie?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh.
But yeah, no, Kyle was just telling me about that movie the other day. We're gonna watch it soon. I've never seen it, but he's been trying to get me to watch it for over a decade. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, Treasure Island. Treasure Island. Okay. To me, those are the same thing. I don't know why they just are the same. It's just treasure. But yeah, so it's the similar thing. Like it was the very end of Mashed Potato May, and I was like, what the hell? I'll just start it. And this one is also kind of weirdly like sort of has a connection to Annie Bot. So Annie Bot is like obviously sci-fi, it's about a robot, but it's also kind of like a coming of age novel almost because she feels like a child in a lot of ways because she's only like been alive for 2 years. So she's like everything is very new to her. And so she's kind of like learning how to be a person and everything. And so this is also like a coming of age story. So I feel like that book kind of has brought me into 2 very different realms of reading right now.
Yeah.
But I've barely read any of this. I'm on like page 18. So I'm very, very early days, but I'm really excited to be reading it finally, for one thing. But I also feel like it's going to be very devastating and sad because the main character is a young boy who, at the very beginning of the book, he gets a note like in his desk at school. And the note just says, I think we should be friends. And he immediately, his first thought is, who's bullying me? Like, who is tricking me right now? Like, somebody is obviously, and so you know that he's like a very isolated person. He doesn't have any friends. He's very scared. He's very fearful. But it turns out that there is a girl who's also being bullied in his class that needs a friend. And so she's reaching out to him to try and connect. And so that's all that's happened so far. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be sad. This is going to be so sad. But yeah, I've loved all of her other books that I've read so far. So I'm really excited to finally read this one. But that's it.
That's
I love
awesome.
We both just started a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, we were like, let's go. Hey,
yeah.
I really thought that you would be reading one of the books that you're already reading, but just as an ebook on your phone. So it's cool that you started a whole new book.
I'm just starting more things. I still have Rouge on my back burner. It's still sitting next to my bed, and I am excited to read it. I've just been getting excited about other things instead. So that's what I've been doing.
So one question I have is on your Shrek bingo card, one of your goals is to read a sci-fi, right? Does Annie Bot count?
That is a tough question that I haven't quite decided on yet. Because to me, like, it is sci-fi because obviously she's an advanced AI robot. That's not something that we have. That's not something that exists right now. So it is sci-fi. But it doesn't feel like a sci-fi book. It feels more like a contemporary book about a relationship. Like, that is more what it's about. And so I hesitate to check it off. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it counts?
I think it counts.
Yeah.
Especially based on our discussion last week. Was it last week? Whatever. A couple episodes ago when we were talking about how to define sci-fi. Was that on an episode or on a live show?
It was on an episode. It was either last week or the week before.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of expanded my understanding of what sci-fi is. And I think if you had written on your paper, like, read a classic sci-fi, then I would be like, obviously this doesn't count or whatever. Yeah. But I think contemporary sci-fi can feel this way, where it's like feels so in the moment that it almost doesn't feel like sci-fi, but that's kind of why it's helping us. I feel like the point, not that needs to be a point, but like I would venture that one of the points of sci-fi is to help us grapple with rapidly advancing technologies. And that sounds like what Annie Bot has done, right? Like it's like made you think all about like how could relationships with this go wrong.
Totally. It has made me had like a mental shift too, where I'm like, this should be illegal. Like we shouldn't be allowed to make artificial consciousnesses that like aren't in control of themselves. Like if we're not going to let them be free, don't make them in the first place. It's kind of like it seems mean, it seems cruel, and I don't know, it's just made me think about that
really I mean, it's so fascinating because there's been a lot of this kind of stuff with AI where it feels a lot like enslavement, where you're just like, well, they don't have a choice, they're literally not free, we're literally saying that like we own them, and it's like, oh my god, like if they're not conscious, okay, but if they are conscious, there's a lot to unpack.
Exactly. It's gotten me thinking about it a lot. I'm like, there's a reason why so many movies and books that are about AI in the future, like the robots are attacking us. Like there's a reason for that. We like brought them to that point, you know?
It's really, really interesting.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. It does count. Because also, like, if that doesn't count, then why would Murderbot count over Annie Bot? They're both about a robot. Just because it's in more of a quote-unquote sci-fi setting, like I don't even know if Murderbot is like in space or something, but for some reason I get that vibe. It's probably not, but there's like it's like a sci-fi war. It feels more sci-fi.
I've seen the trailer for it, and so if the movie is accurate, it does seem like some of it is set in space.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I haven't seen that trailer yet either. I never watch trailers, but you know what? You're right. It counts. And I also don't think I'm going to stop anytime soon. Like when I said summer of sci-fi, I really meant that. And I'm still feeling the vibe. I think I'm going to do it. So even if this book doesn't quote unquote count, I'll definitely read more books that I will also be able to add to that box. So yeah.
Fascinating.
Right. I'll check it off.
Okay, cool. All right. So you also have a book to haul, right?
It's true. Yes. I very excitingly received an email from our buddy Cam over at Simon & Schuster. I just saw in the title of the email, Stephen King. And I was like, whoa, wait, what? What's going on? And turns out that our buddy Cam is like the Canadian person in charge for Stephen King, basically. And so he was able to send me a copy of Stephen King's new book, Never Flinch, which is just unbelievable. I couldn't believe it.
That's so cool.
I was like,
so cool.
Mom, I've made it. I got a Stephen King book sent to me in the mail. It's awesome. So this is exciting for a lot of reasons, because this is the next book kind of in the Holly Gibney series. So I've probably talked about the character Holly quite a lot now at this point. She has become one of Stephen King's like favorite characters. Like you can just tell that he loves her because he keeps writing about her, and he's like not ready to let her go yet. But I'm wondering if this is going to be the end. I don't know. It's like the fourth book that she's been featured in, but this is the third like full novel. So I feel like it could be a good ending point. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but yeah, so she's basically like a private detective, and so all of the books are about her solving crimes, but she also specializes in the supernatural. So she's able to see situations and be like, there's something else going on here. So she's very clever, and I just find her hilarious. I absolutely love her. So I don't know much about the plot of this. I'm just like, I don't care. I hear Holly, I pick it up. So I'm very excited.
That's awesome.
To have that. Yeah.
Yay. Well, that's perfect. I was gonna say good job, everyone. I guess we didn't actually read that much. Well, we did. It sounds like between all the books, we probably read a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean we've got like 6 books on the go right now. We've read some pages.
That's awesome. All right. Well, let's take a little visit to the mailroom. All right, well, I pulled quite a few comments about Mashed Potato May, because when we're recording this, it's June 2nd, so it just finished a couple of days ago, and I wanted to highlight some exciting messages from people. Katrina said, I did a lot of very satisfying DNFing of old sprouting potatoes this month. So basically, she like DNF'd loads of books, which I think is also a very effective use of
absolutely.
Mashed Potato May.
Yeah,
like clear the pipes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah said, my first and last reads were mashed potatoes, Northanger Abbey and Mythos for the month of May. So I think that's awesome. And also, I think Northanger Abbey, I think probably a lot of people have as mashed potato books. Selena said, I read 3 mashed potatoes, Taste, Ready Player One, and Persepolis. I don't know what Taste is, but Ready Player One and Persepolis, those are prime mashed potatoes.
I think Taste is the Stanley Tucci book, probably. I think that's
the name you're of his right. Memoir. Yes, you're totally right. Also read 2 Jane Austen novels, who I meant to read for a while now, but were technically never on my TBR, so I think she didn't own them. That's awesome. MG loved this comment. MG said, as part of Mashed Potato May, I went to the Montreal Comic Arts Festival, a mashed potato event. It was absolutely amazing. I got to have such sweet conversations with some of my favorite authors. They also signed my books. And note, I was wearing a frog rain poncho and a yellow hoodie, and one of the authors drew me. And we'll put that photo here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was so cute. So that's really awesome. Puff Maggie said, I present you to the potato to rule them all. There's a lot of creative spelling going on here. Potato-eest of all potatoes. My precious potato that I've decided to finally start feasting upon. She goes on, it's a great comment, but basically finally started reading Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh,
that is a perfect mashed potato book. And they say, I'm listening to the audiobook narrated by Andy Serkis while I read along, and it's been so enjoyable. Even if I don't finish it by Sunday, I feel like it's a perfect book to carry the spirit of the potato with me. And I love that, because that's kind of what we've done with me with Treasure Island. I almost said Treasure Planet because you got that in my head. And you with Heaven, which is awesome. Okay, I also got a couple other comments here that weren't exactly mashed potato-y, but I wanted to read them to you. Okay. RK says, my chaotic astigmatism lore, because we talked about astigmatism last week, is that during the height of the pandemic, I worked at Starbucks, and my mask made my glasses fog up. Do we all remember that?
There had to be so many techniques that I had to do to make the mask not fog up.
Strategies.
I figured it out. But at the beginning, it was dark. It was foggy.
That was a dark time. And my mask made my glasses fog up. So I just ... didn't wear them. Instead, I memorized everything by its general shape and color.
Oh my God.
Did I have to hold the cups up to my face to read the label? Absolutely. But also, whenever customers yelled at me, not being able to see their faces made me feel brave. Hey, that's...
Good point. One of my friends to this day doesn't wear glasses, even though her prescription is pretty similar to mine, and she should wear glasses. Crazy. She's like, I'm just okay with the world being blurry. I'm like, okay.
That's so funny. So fascinating. I love that comment. That really made me laugh. Okay, and the last one that I pulled, WT says, this has been my most productive mashed potato May yet. I finished not 1, not 2, but 3 books that have been on my shelves for over 10 years, including The Great Gatsby, which I put on my mashed potato TBR every year but never actually read, Vanity Fair, which was my Peter Glazebrook book and ended up being a 5-star read, and for me, a new favorite. So I just feel like that went incredibly well, and I'm very happy for them.
That's incredible.
And in fact, I think we should send them a certified reader pin. So WT042, if that's you listening,
if that's your real name,
send us an email at booksunboundpodcast@gmail.com, and Raylene will send out a pin because you deserve it. You did great. So did everyone, but we can't send everyone a pin. So there you have it. All right, Raylene, what comments did you pull?
Well, I just pulled some comments from our Patreon, which were kind of just like responses to our last episode. So not as mashed potato-y as yours, but I got a couple of good ones here. So Leslie says to you, good luck with Anne number 6, Ariel. As a hardcore Anne lover, I think that one is the worst by far.
I'm starting to get that feeling myself.
So, I know you didn't like, what was it, number 4? Or
2. Anne of Avonlea.
Number 2, right. Yeah. But this might be worse, so just get ready for that.
Here's the thing, right? I actively think Anne of Avonlea is a bad book. I And I have a feeling this one's going to be worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we also don't have so many of the characters that we love around.
Oh, yeah.
Because she doesn't live in Avonlea anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's tough. I feel like
that
there's some sort of magic in those early days, you know, when things are, everyone's still together.
Yeah.
I know you like all your people being together, so that is
I
hard
really
to hear.
do. I hate it when a fellowship breaks up.
Yeah. Okay, this next comment that I have from Abigail says, I love Catch-22 and I also love Vonnegut. So the comment about them being enjoyed by the same audience is exactly right, in my opinion. So that feels good to know. I haven't read a lot of Vonnegut, so I was like, I don't know, I'm just getting this vibe. So I'm glad that Abigail agrees with me there. Another comment about Catch-22. Forest Flower says, I've had Catch-22 on my TBR for ages because it's a classic without knowing what it's about. Thanks to Raylene's review, I now see that it's not my cup of tea at all and I can take it off. Also a way of conquering a mashed potato. Hee hee. Which is true. I mean, it's very true. I'm glad I conquered it, but I could have easily, if I had just eventually gotten rid of it, I would have never known. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to never known what it was about. So I'm glad I read it. I'm really glad I read it.
Well, thank you guys so much for sending in your comments throughout Mashed Potato May. It was a lot of fun. And now we're diving into the book club. So if you are reading Our Wives Under the Sea alongside us, our goal is we'll be doing a live show on our Patreon at the end of the month. Those details are all available on our Patreon, which is always linked in the description of all of our episodes. So definitely check that out if you want to attend that live show where we'll be going into depth. And we're also in the midst of recording a reading vlog for it, so that's a lot of fun. And yeah, thank you also to everyone who purchased some of the bookmarks on sale. We sold a bunch of them, and I'm so glad that they're not, like, you know, they weren't going to get pulped or whatever, that they went to people who are going to really like them. That's awesome. That's really beautiful as well. So thank you so much to everyone for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will talk to you in the next one. Bye.